Got to give the people what they want. All right, Bass, I'm back. I'm gonna get some information down and we're gonna clean up this factoring polynomials when given one factor. You all did a lot of discovery in the last class and now we're going to make it happen. So, factoring polynomials when we are given a factor. 1, you want to set up and solve an area model puzzle. So where you're given a factor to begin with, you'll set it up and solve the big area model puzzle. 2, then you're going to have your one factor and a remaining quadratic. You're going to then turn around and factor that remaining quadratic using the area model. So remember, here is an example of like the remaining quadratic that I'm talking about, something x squared. So when you get this, you still have to factor it. So remember, the diagonals in the area model multiply to the same thing, and they add to the middle term of the quadratic. So if I had this to begin with, I know that the 3x squared goes there. I know that the 21 goes there. I know that these two numbers need to multiply to the same thing as these two numbers, right? So this times this has to equal 63, which is 21 times 3. But I also know that these two missing numbers have to add together to this middle term, right? So they have to multiply to 63 and add to 16. So that's where I did this, right? 7 times 9 multiplies to 63. 7 plus 9 adds to 16. So I know that this is 7x and this is 9x, right? So then I can finish the area model puzzle from there. I'm not going to do that now, but that's just the reminders of how we've done that. We've done this all through the past. All right, so now we are actually going to sit here and factor this bad boy. So we are going to factor x cubed minus 3x minus 60. Ooh, that should say x cubed minus 3x squared minus 60x minus 100, when I know that x plus 5 is a factor. So I'm going to do this. I don't know exactly how many I need here, but I know one of my factors is going to be x, and it's going to be 5. And I know that this for sure is going to be this first term. So this has to be x squared. X times x squared will give me x cubed. And then this has to be 5x squared. Now, the next thing I know is that this and this, when I put them together, they need to equal negative 3x squared. So if this is 5x, this needs to be a negative 8x, because negative 8x squared, because they have to equal that negative 3x squared. And 5 and negative 8 is negative 3x squared. So once I get there, if this is true, this has to be a minus 8x, right? Yep. Has to be a minus 8x. And if this is minus 8x, this has to be a minus 40x. Yep. Now, I have to get this minus 60x. So I see that this and this, these two, have to equal minus 60x. So I'm going to say minus 20x. So now, x times negative 20 goes there. And this is negative 100, which should be good because there's my negative 100. So now, so far, I know my factors are x plus 5 times x squared minus 8x minus 20. But I still have a quadratic. This is a quadratic right here. And that can still be factored. So I have to take that and do another area model. So this one's easier. So I'm basically factoring x squared minus 8x minus 20. I know this has to be minus 20. I know this has to be x squared. I know my only options are x, no squared, x times x. And I know that to get these, it basically, they have to add to this middle term. So this plus this have to equal -8. And the blank times the blank have to equal, what is that, -20? And I haven't even done this. So -20, -8, what? 1 times 20, 2 times 10. 2 times 10 is going to do it. So 2, 10. I need the 10 to be negative. So I have -10x, 2x. And now I can figure out, well, x times 2 is 2x. And for this one, x times what? -10. And -10 times 2 is -20. So now I just took this quadratic and I broke it into two pieces. X minus 10 times x plus 2. And I can't forget my original factor, which is x plus 5. I have fully factored this original problem right there. So it's all those different pieces, okay? So we're going to do a second one. Let me get you a new, actually I'm just going to clear this page. Clear. And I want you to try to factor this one. It says same directions. So factor x cubed minus 11x squared plus 24x plus 36. And I'm going to give you one factor. The factor I give you, one factor is x plus 1. All right. Go ahead and do that. Try to do it before me. Cool. Hopefully you just did. So I'm looking at this and I say, okay, well, let me start to break this down. I know I got this. I'm doing x and 1. I'm doing, oh, what am I doing? Just kidding. Now this needs to be an x cubed. My only option here is x squared. And now x squared times 1 is still x squared. I know these two right here need to be -11 x squared, because that's just how it works. So for this to be -11, this needs to be a -12 x squared. Right? So that means this spot right here needs to be -12x. Yep. And that means this spot here is -12x. Cool. Now I'm looking here, and I know this times this needs to add to 24x. So 36 minus 12 is 24. So this needs to be, what is this, 36? And then this needs to be a 36. So now, I found this quadratic. I know that it is x, ooh, that's ugly. No, it's x plus 1 times x squared minus 12x plus 36. Now I gotta take this bad boy and factor it. So I'm gonna use that area model again. And I'm gonna say, okay, this is x and x. I know this is x squared. I know this is 36. I know they need to add blank plus blank equals negative 12 because it's my middle term. And I know that they need to multiply blank times blank equals 36. 36, negative 12. So 1 times 36, 2 times 24. 3, what is it? 3 times 9 is 36? No. 3 times 12 is 36. 3 and 12 ain't going to do it. 4 times 9, 5, 8 and 4. 8 and 4. Haha, there it is. 8 times 4 is 36. Ew. No, it's not. But you know what it is? 6 times 6 is 36. But I need the 36 to be positive and the 12 to be negative. So I need negative 6 and negative 6. So I have a negative 6x and a negative 6x. All right. Let's see what we got. This becomes x minus 6 is negative 6x. This becomes x minus 6 is negative 6x. This becomes 36. So this whole thing becomes x minus 6 times x minus 6, which is x minus 6 squared, times x plus 1. Or you could have written it x plus 1 times x minus 6 times x minus 6. Either way. But this is your fully factored form. All right. There it is. This is what I got. This will be doing more practice and working with this on Monday. Then you could turn around and graph this if you needed it to. But yeah. All right. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Talk to you soon. Peace.